What is up, my ducks and drakes? Welcome to the Crawdad Lake. Today we are continuing Apotheosis, the guy who didn't like musicals fanfic by ashowstoppinstarkid. Chapters 7 through 9. I'm sorry, I forgot how to count for a second. Please excuse me. It's been a long day. So if you like this fanfic, please give this video a big thumbs up, and if you'd like to check it out for yourself, the link to the author and the book itself will be in the description below. This could be if you want to check it out yourself or follow along. If you're not caught up on the other two parts to this book that I did, you can find them on my Wattpad or Louds playlist. With that, on with the story. Chapter 7. I think I got you beat. It had been 2 long minutes of walking down the streets. Total silence. The silence gnawed at Harriet's heart for some reason. She felt guilty. She didn't know why Emma was upset, but she evidently had something to do with it. Emma was her friend, probably the closest thing to family she had left. Somehow, she'd managed to fuck it all up. And worse than that, she was enough of an idiot to not know what the fuck she'd done. She felt like a total piece of shit. Emma was far ahead of her, so being as conscious as she was, she ran a little catch up with her friend. How did I fuck up? Harriet asked. She watched as a smile cracked on Emma's formerly grumpy face, and her friend started to cackle with laughter. Harriet quirked her eyebrows. She had no clue what was going on. I'm confused. You didn't fuck up, Harry, Emma assured her, chuckling. Sorry, I just, that, the way you worded that, then why wouldn't you talk to me? And why are you upset? Harriet asked. Because I'm a dumb bitch, Emma sighed. A dumb bitch who really should have learned her lesson the first time. Elaborate? Harriet asked. Oh, it's really personal. Emma chuckled, nervously blushing. Never mind, I'm sorry I snapped at you. Sometimes I'm not just a dumb bitch. You're neither a bitch or a dumb bitch, Harriet soothed. You know, you could talk to me if I do or say anything to trigger you, right? Oh, it's not that serious, Emma assured her quickly. No, it's fine. It's silly. If it got you that upset, it's not silly to me, she told her. She was making use of a few strategies her uncle had used on her in her more hormonal days. Look, stop being nosy, Emma sighed. I'm not telling you. Okay, Harriet flushed. She didn't like being called nosy, not at all. She still felt there was a tension between them. But she supposed Emma needed time. Sorry, that was... Emma trailed off. No, I deserved that, Harriet chuckled sadly. I know it sounds really mature and kind of stupid even, given that I'm talking about 10 minutes ago, but I miss the old times. You sound like your uncle, Emma chuckled. Please tell me I'm not going to become your working boy. Well, Shit, my bad. It's bound to happen. Harriet caught herself. You're basically my old friend. Ever. What? Emma started laughing. I'm not. You are, Harriet chuckled awkwardly. Kids always thought I was too weird or too young. Dude, I would have befriended you and used the shit out of you, Emma admitted. That would have been the smart thing. This is essentially the proof you need that you're not a dumb bitch, Harriet smirked, a cover for the stab of pain she felt thinking about her school days. They were both dumb and bitches. You are neither. I'm sorry to hear that, Emma softened. It's fine, my schooling sucked ass, so I got it done as quickly as I could, Harriet sighed. She then remembered something and reached into her satchel. She pulled out a pack of cigars. Aha! You're a biologist. You know that shit isn't good for you, right? Emma asked. Tell that to my anxiety, Harriet chuckled sarcastically, pulling out a lighter. Her cigars were pre-cut by her uncle. She could never quite figure out how to do it herself. She took the time to light the cigar and took a puff. He left me the good ones. How are you more hardcore than your uncle? Emma started laughing. I beg your pardon? Harriet asked, cigar resting naturally between her fingers. One time your uncle saved our asses, shotgun in hand, cigarette dangling out of his mouth. Emma started. He sacrificed all his cigars for me? Harriet cooed affectionately. Poor Uncle Henry, cigarettes aren't nearly enough to help him cope. I guess. Anyways, I thought was the most epic thing I could see. Like, it's such a stereotypical movie thing, right? Emma continued. But you've outdone him. I doubt that. Harriet raised her eyebrows, taking another puff. Look at you, sauntering into the distance, gun strapped to your back in all this military-ass shit, covered in blue shit from the enemy, smoking a cigar. It's like I'm in an epic apocalypse movie, Emma told her. Like the Terminator. He doesn't smoke, Harriet pointed out, taking another puff of the smoke. She could already feel her nerves subduing. Okay, but you get my drift, Emma sighed. You're as epic as the fucking Terminator. What does that make you? Harriet smirked. Sarah Connor. Harriet noted a change in Emma's stance and her friend stopped laughing. In her experience, since she tended not to look people in the eye, so she analyzed body language. This signified a loss of confidence, or hurt. Harriet perked an eyebrow, concerned. Great. She'd fucked up again. She did something wrong. She could feel that she just wasn't quite sure what she'd said. I guess, Emma sighed. Oh, I'm sorry. Harriet apologized, though she wasn't quite sure for what. What? Emma asked. I'm sorry, she repeated. Oh, why? Well, I've obviously said something to upset you, Harriet shrugged. You know, I'd appreciate it if you'd let me know what it is I'm saying that's upsetting you. I already said no, Harry, Emma sighed. Don't worry about it. It's not on you. If you're sure, Harriet shrugged. I hate to see you upset like this. Why do you care so much about that? Emma asked. Because it's, like I said, you're my only friend, Harriet told her. You two are so sappy, a tiny voice scoffed. Out walked little Harry. It looked like Harriet hadn't been successful in getting rid of him entirely. With that bash on his head, blue shit oozed down his face, and half of his brain was exposed. Holy shit, Emma muttered. I presume I'm talking to the collective? Harriet addressed it. You're weak, Harriet, it told her. Am I? I've gotten rid of a good amount of your people. Harriet quirked an eyebrow at it, unimpressed. You didn't have the strength to kill this one, it countered. Or perhaps I had the mercy in me to give him a chance to live after I dispose of you, she bullshitted, taking a puff of her cigar. You know, without us, he will die, it chuckled. You're absolutely adorable when you're flustered. What do you want? Harriet asked. You, it smirked. Absolutely not, she chuckled lowly. You made quite the impression, it told her. You're getting to be an issue. Have you thought that it might be because some of us actually like the concept of an Earth inhabited by individuals? She retorted. We're giving you the chance to surrender now before we put you through the hell you've put us through, It sobered. No more kidding. No more wit. This is serious. It gestured to Emma. We'd started by making you watch as one's apotheosis comes upon her. You're threatening me, but you're forgetting something, Harriet told it, looking it dead in the eyes. She took a puff of her cigar to help her feel a little more comfortable. The eye contact was massively uncomfortable, but also very necessary. She felt a pang of guilt. This was a child. What's that? It asked. I've chosen the survivors so far, she growled, dropping her cigar, positioning her shotgun and shooting it dead in the forehead. She watched it, or rather, Henry, fall to ground, lifeless, or at least she thought, until it got up. The child heals quickly, it smirked. But, Harry gaped. Shit. Emma breathed, rock backing starting to play, and Harriet's stomach filled with dread. Children like Henry are helping us evolve, it smirked. There's a point of no return in every story told. Let's be reasonable, Harriet attempted to soothe. And one fact has never changed between stories new and old, it belted out. Every villain is a hero in their own world. This is bigger than some money or just getting the girl. If we don't take this planet, we're all gonna die. So we're gonna have to settle this between you and I. More than a battle awaits, this is war, Harriet joined in, harmonizing. This just became more than a game. There's no more keeping the score. And in the end, only one of us will make it out alive. The game is over. Now let's see who survives. Harry, we need to... Emma started. You don't need to worry, or you don't need to do anything other than surrender now. Or die. A growled, lunging for Emma. Harriet jumped in front of it and plunged the butt of her shotgun into it, watching it fly back. I won't give in, no, I won't die. And though you'll bend me, I won't break, Harriet belted out. My resolve will not be broken, and my nerves you'll never shake. We would not be defeated, it hissed, getting up. We're past heroes and villains, life is no song, Harriet sung, picking it up by the collar. Morals are dead, there is no right or wrong, and if you think you're taking out our race, that's shit. This is my planet, and I plan to defend it. More than a battle of wits, this is war, Henry joined in through gritted teeth. This has become more than a game. There's no more keeping score. And in the end, only one of us will make it out alive. The game is over. Now let's see who survives. Harry, cool it, Emma attempted to soothe. There's only one way to win, and I know what to do, they both sang. To get what I need to get rid of you. But can you get rid of me when I am all that's left of your normal life and all your happiness? It sang to her. We could live together. We risk that chance. What's so bad about life where you sing and dance? If I kill you, I leave my own life behind. Can the loss of my family really give me peace of mind? Harriet repeated a similar melody. Could I live with myself if I let you live? Risking the human race is something I could not forgive. No, I would not forgive. Harry? Emma's eyes widened as Harriet took out a larger knife. more like a sword. "There's only one way to win, and I know what to do," Harriet repeated, an octave lower, knife pressed to its throat. It tried to claw for her stomach in a fluster, but the material was far too tough for that. It was futile. "And though it pains me, I have to get rid of you. Goodbye, love, though I know you're already on the other side. Go knowing you were somebody's pride. I've never been anyone's pride. God, I wish that you hadn't died." Harriet looked at Emma and decided to drag the child to where she wouldn't be able to hear anything. Emma's eyes widened in horror as she heard a scream and the plunk of a body falling to the ground, followed by another, more hollow plop. She hoped that not all of them had evolved to Harry's point. She didn't want to keep beheading people. Harriet walked back to Emma, hands covered in blue, looking faintly sick. She couldn't believe she'd done that. The remorse hadn't even hit her yet. She was still in shock. She didn't even bother wiping the blue shit off her face. She took out a new cigar and lit it silently, taking a puff of smoke, letting the smoke out slowly. She needed to cope somehow. "Harry," Emma breathed. "I had to," Harry muttered under her breath. "It was him or us." "Are you sure there's no other way?" Emma soothed. "If they can recover from a bullet, they can recover from a stabbed wound." Harriet shook her head. "Separating a vital organ is the only course of action I can see working." "God, I hope," Emma started. "It's very unlikely. Children heal easier. Even if they had advanced their healing, it would never go that far for an adult," Harriet assured her, taking another puff of smoke from her cigar. "God, what have I done?" "Hey, Harry. It's like you said," Emma began to soothe. "He was a child, Emma," Harriet snapped, tears forming in her eyes. Now the remorse was hitting her. "Not only that, but he was my brother." "Not anymore," Emma reasoned. "It was him or humanity." "This fucking sucks," Harriet roared, tears streaming down her face. "He was all I had left, Emma, of my family, of my life." "You still got me," Emma told her. Harriet pauses for a moment. She wasn't huggy, but she would kill to be in her Uncle Henry's arms right about now. Given that he wasn't here, Emma was a viable substitute. She took a puff of smoke and threw herself into Emma's arms, sobbing. "Oh, hey, it's okay. It's gonna be all right." Harriet remained there, weak and sobbing, for God knows how long. She never broke down, but so much had just happened, and everything she knew had crumbled. She was a logical thinker. The things she knew were all she had left. Now she had nothing but her guns, Emma, and the blood on her hands. What a sad, sad life that would be. She started to reconsider. Was this really worth it? Was her integrity really worth anything? It was an inner thought, one she hadn't thought about until that one tiny song she'd sung in the interrogation room. She had always valued her integrity very highly, but now the old world was gone. Did integrity even exist anymore? We need to keep moving," Harriet sniffed, pulling away. "I didn't just kill my brother to let time get the best of us." "You sure you're good to keep going?" Emma asked, patting her on the shoulder. Harriet took a puff of her cigar. I don't matter," Harriet chuckled sadly. "Neither of us do. There's more okay, Emma. Nothing will ever be okay again. It all burned away when that meteor crashed into the starlight." "This isn't the world that we knew before, and it will never be again. So we've got to keep our chins up," brush it off and focus on saving what we can of before. Because there's a chance, however small, that we can make the world something similar to what it was before. That's worth holding on to. But if we're ever gonna see it happen, we've got to go. All right, Emma nodded. Harriet sighed, letting the cigar dangle from her fingers, and kept walking. Emma followed closely behind her. I'm sorry about all that. Harry blushed. I try to keep my emotions at bay, but don't apologize. Emma chuckled. You're a human, not a robot. You're allowed to have emotions. I'd actually be more concerned if you bottled it up. Usually I do. Harriet shrugged. That's not healthy, Emma told her. It's never hurt before, Harriet sighed, taking another puff. What's the whole allure of cigars, anyway? Emma asked. Harriet hummed. I guess I don't really know. The taste is much nicer. More nicotine. Takes the edge off easier. Or at least it does for me. Can I... Emma started. I thought you didn't like smoking, Harriet smirked. Remember? It can kill you. You said it takes the edge off. Emma shrugged. Besides, what's one time gonna do? You know, normally I wouldn't support this. A nicotine addiction is nothing you want on your plate. Not that I'm addicted. Uncle Henry made sure I was careful about not smoking too often. Only on occasion. She sighed, getting a cigar for Emma. But you're right. It's the end of the world, and you're probably going to work better if you're a little calmer. Want me to get it lit for you? Yeah, sure. Emma nodded. Harriet quickly managed to get the cigar lit, then handed it to Emma. Emma took a puff and coughed. Holy shit. You'll get used to it, Harriet laughed, taking another puff of her own. Oh, fuck. Emma chuckled, still coughing. That's weird. Uncle Henry originally let me try it to ward me away from them, Harriet told her. But I have weird tastes, and I was adamant to prove him wrong, so he eventually caved. Henry was one hell of a man, Emma sighed. Indeed he was, Harriet smiled sadly. I hope you don't harbor any resentment towards him. I do, she told Harriet. I'm sorry, Harry, but he almost got me killed. I understand that, Harriet sighed. I just wish you had known him better. I knew he was dedicated, Emma sighed, and he was always ready for a good time. That he was. I'm wondering if Uncle Henry might have added a little something extra to the cigars, Harriet admitted. I'm beginning to feel a little woozy. You look really pale, Emma acknowledged, putting her cigar out. It's odd. Harriet furrowed her eyebrows. I don't feel like I'm on a high. I just feel lightheaded. You really don't look good, Emma remarked. Oh, don't worry, Harriet chuckled nervously. I'll be absolutely fine, I'm sure. Sit for a little, Emma suggested. You've been through a lot. We don't have the time for that, Harriet scoffed, taking one last puff of her cigar before haphazardly stomping it out. She started seeing white spots. Whoa. Holy shit, Harry! Emma rushed to a spot behind Harriet. Harriet wobbled a little before eventually falling in Emma's arms. Keep going, Harriet urged. I can't. Emma began wobbling herself. I feel funny. Well, shit, Harriet chuckled. This is how we go. Emma started before eventually losing her balance and falling to the ground. Harriet felt her consciousness fade. You... what? She asked, using the last of her mental strength. Love. Emma struggles as both of them gave into the darkness, clouding over their vision. Chapter 8. Voices in my head. Harriet opened her eyes groggily. Where was she? She didn't remember what she was doing, or why she wasn't at home, although there was something very familiar about her current location. Current situation. She couldn't, for the life of her, figure out what was going on, though. She breathed in. Ah, yes, the apotheosis had begun. It was all coming back. She killed a lot of shit. She made a friend, and holy fuck, they were on a time limit before they fucking died. She bolted upright and felt a tug at her hair as she did, wincing in pain. Wait, she braided that? That meant... She turned to look behind her, only to be met by her uncle's eyes. He'd been playing with her hair, so that was the familiar feeling. Her eyes widened. Oh God, she was remembering now. He was one of them. They'd fully taken him over. But if that were the case, why wasn't she dead? He should be tearing her guts out or something, not combing through her hair. Was this heaven? Had she died? She looked around. Heaven looked a lot like a sketchy alleyway. She concluded she must be alive. But how? Good. You woke up. Henry cleared his throat, interrupting her thoughts. I should be dead, Harriet blurted out. If by that you mean I should have killed you, you're entirely right. Henry sighed. But they let me go again. Fucking plot development, Harriet grumbled. I see you, and I have come to the same conclusion. Harriet smirked. It's only logical, Harriet shrugged. Their last plot left on a cliffhanger, so they needed a sequel, but a sequel that people would actually watch, not just a simple murder, no. They needed a complex emotional plot, which was why they were going to have you kill me, even after we had reconciled. And they're doing it again, Henry admitted. What? Harriet quirked an eyebrow. They let me go for plot development on your part, and Paul for Emma, Henry revealed, pulling Harriet in closer to him. He wrapped an arm around her protectively, while his other hand ran through her hair. Paul? As in... Harriet realized, a tinge of jealousy kicking in. He had better not steal her one friend. Allow me to introduce you, Henry chuckled. Paul, she's awake. Which one? A man hurried around the corner and into the alleyway. Harriet took a moment to take in her surroundings. Something was on her hand. She looked down to see her hand tightly gripping Emma's, who was right beside her. Good. Emma was safe. Other than that, there was blue shit and trash everywhere. The man she was looking at looked absolutely exhausted. He wore a white dress shirt and a black tie. His chestnut hair was neatly combed, his pastel blue eyes wide with anticipation. His clothes was neatly pressed, obviously not to the state they'd been in after Apotheosis. He dressed up, luckily to win Emma back, which she had no problem with so long as it didn't interfere with her relationship with Emma. Mine, Henry told him. Paul Matthews, Dr. Harriet Hidgens. Harriet, Paul Matthews. I wish we were meeting under more casual circumstances. Harriet smiled softly at him. Thanks? Paul quirked his head to the side a little. How long until Emma wakes up? Again, I don't know. Henry rolled his eyes. Believe me, I'm as anxious as you are, Harriet added. She needed to set boundaries. Paul was not the only one there for Emma, and he needed to know that. She was trying to tell me something before we both passed out. I'd like to know what it was. What did it sound like? Paul asked, eager. Is that really necessary? Henry huffed. It could be important, Paul reasoned. All I got was, I love, Harriet told him. I have no clue what the last word could be. Are you serious, Harriet? You're a multi-doctorate. Think! Henry groaned. It's evidently I love Paul. We don't know that for sure, and we can't assume, Harriet chided. But that is reasonable. Wouldn't it make more sense for her to be saying, I love you? Paul asked Harriet, looking down at Emma for a second, and then to her uncle before she burst out laughing. Why is that so funny? Why in heaven's name would she be saying she loved me? Harriet scoffed, still in hysterics. Well, you saved her ass. That has an effect on people. Paul chuckled nervously. Oh, he was jealous. Harry could see it. His fists were clenched. Tension. In context, jealousy made sense. We're just friends, though. Harry shook her head, calming down a little bit of the laughing. Friendly love is a thing, Henry told her. It is? Harriet asked. Excuse her naivety. She's never had a friend before, Harriet told Paul. How is that even possible? Paul took his turn laughing. I had a very difficult childhood. I'm different from most people my age, Harriet sighed. Or most people in general. I'm a genius for one. People are intimidated by me, but if they didn't know that, they were avoiding me because, well, I'm autistic. So? Paul asked. Why should that mean anything? I wish kids at my school growing up thought the same way you do, Harry chuckled sadly. Or really, the public in general. For some reason, autism is associated with being dumb or creepy or weird. I don't think I'm any of the three. I just work a little bit differently than everyone else. Yeah. I wish I knew how to respond to that. Paul chuckled nervously. So you're socially awkward, Harriet laughed. Join the club. Harriet? Henry chided. No, it's okay, Paul laughed. I am so socially awkward. I don't know how to talk to people. It's fucking confusing, Harriet nodded sympathetically, laughing her head off. She liked Paul. He eventually liked her too, and she guessed she'd be alright if he stole Emma a little bit from her. He eventually was worried about her. He couldn't keep his eyes off of her for more than a minute at a time. She calmed down a little and attempted to get up, but she couldn't move her legs. What's going on? Why can't I move? You fell a little funny, Angel, Henry told her. Cut off the blood flow. It's still trying to properly circulate. I guess, would you like me to pick you up? If you wouldn't mind, she nodded. Henry picked her up bridal style. Harry? Emma groaned, eyes fluttering open. Emma! Paul cheered, crouching up beside her quickly. Paul? Emma muttered grudgingly. Jesus Christ, Paul, I had the weirdest dream. At first, Hidgens betrayed us. Then you became one of the blue people, and then the whole cycle started again, and I think I might have fallen for. That wasn't a dream. Harriet started laughing hysterically. Shit, then he's... Emma's eyes widened, and she crawled away. Not one of them, Paul soothed. Well, technically he is, Harriet corrected. He just isn't under their control right now. They want to develop the plot, Harriet nodded. Professor? Emma blinked. Hey, you're probably pretty pissed, Henry considered. Understatement of the year, Emma scoffed. It was a dick move, I acknowledge that, Henry sighed. I thought this was going to be everything I ever wanted, but you realize how much of a fucking idiot you are, she finished for him. Yes, that, he sighed. Go on then, say it, Emma pushed. Say what? He asked. What I just said, she told him. Absolutely not, he scoffed. Look, you have no chance of getting me to forgive you until you admit it, Emma shrugged. Who says I need you to forgive me? Henry tensed. Your eyes, Emma chuckled. You feel guilty, Henry. Fine, he snapped. I'm a fucking idiot. Good, Emma smiled softly. You pull any shit like that again, and I will end you. I have a gun. You gave her a gun? Henry looked at Harriet, unimpressed. I wasn't going to send her out here without any means of self-defense, Harriet reasoned. As nice as this all is, there is still the issue that we could revert back into their control at any time, Paul cut in. Then we get them as far as we can before that happens. Then they can deal with us however they have to, Harry told them. But we're putting them in danger, Paul countered. They're in more danger of dying, trying to achieve their goal without us, Henry told him. Help him up. Oh, so she can't walk and I can't? Harry rolled her eyes. You sound like you're blaming me for your lousy falling skills, he quirked an eyebrow. Excuse you, I passed out, Harriet scoffed. You know I've been practicing my falling for years. Sorry, he chuckled. God, you've grown so much from the tiny child you used to be. Are you calling me fat? Harriet scoffed tensely. God, you're annoying. Henry rolled his eyes. I learned from the best, Harriet shot back. You two are absolutely adorable, but we need to move our asses. Emma chuckled, getting off the ground. She brushed herself off and took Paul's hand. She looked at him and smiled. I'm so glad that you're okay again. Me too, Paul blushed, even if it's only for a little bit. Look at us! We're the Apotheosis gang. Ready to kick alien ass, Emma chuckled, starting to walk out of the alley. Paul followed her, following by Henry, still carrying Harriet. So, have you been putting the skills I taught you to work, this Apotheosis? He asked. You say that as if there are going to be multiple, Emma chuckled. Well, Henry started. There won't be, Harriet assured her, rolling her eyes at her uncle. You never know, Henry told her. Anyways, I killed lots of stuff, Harriet told him. Only out of necessity, right? Henry asked. Well, she may have been a little overcautious, Emma told him. What does she mean? Henry looked down at Harriet with a trace of disapproval. I may have killed my entire family, Harriet chuckled nervously. What do you mean, your family? Henry quirked an eyebrow. I'm your only living relative. Yeah, now you are, Emma sighed. Mom and Dad were alive all these years, Harry told him. They had another child, named after you. They raised him. No. Henry shook his head. I thought... God damn it, I'm an idiot. What did you not tell me? Harriet glared at him. She knew her uncle. I lied about how your parents died, he admitted. They're both astronomical biologists. They did not work on theorizing about extraterrestrial life forms. When a piece of a comet fell into Hatchetfield, they were responsible for studying it. I thought it had just made them sick. My parents were the first infected, Harry growled. They had no vital signs, he breathed shakily. Professor, it's all right. Take a breath, Paul soothed. Don't drop your daughter. Uncle Henry, I'm not mad at you. You didn't know, and you wouldn't have been able to tell me about any of this when I was young. I suppose you were going to, Harriet assured him, seeing what her angry streak had done to him. First of all, Paul, she isn't my daughter. She only seems like it to me, Henry sighed. And thank you for understanding, Harriet. I was going to tell you in time. It's just difficult. I know, she told him. Oh, I'm fucking pissed at her, those alien bastards. They really have been targeting me from the beginning, haven't they? All the more motive for you to right their wrongs and put everything back to normal, Henry soothed. Now, tell me about my nephew. I want to know all about him before I meet him. Oh? Emma chuckled nervously. I remember how we got on this conversation. I killed our family, Harry chuckled nervously. Even your little brother? Henry quirked an eyebrow disapprovingly. Hey, don't give me that look. It was either him or me, Harry defended herself. He was a good boy. 6 years at most. Absolutely fucking adorable little treacherous bastard. You have a lot of feelings about him, don't you? Paul chuckled. I used to think he was great, and then the stupid fucking Apotheosis had to ruin him for me, Harriet groaned. You think I wanted to behead a 6-year-old? No, not my idea of fun. Behead? Henry asked. Bullets wouldn't work on him, Emma shuddered. Interesting. They were able to evolve in a smaller host, Henry hummed. Yes, I hope that there aren't any other small infected children floating about this area, Harriet nodded. That would be very unfortunate. Okay, is it just me, or is the way she worded that sketchy? Paul asked. Words aren't really her thing the majority of the time, Emma shrugged. Okay, I'm probably just a little on edge since this plot seems to have so many twists, Paul reasoned. I just really want you to make it out of this, Emma. I may not have the chance to, but you do. Don't talk like that, Paul. Harriet's got something to save us. Emma hushed him. The only thing she can guarantee that device will do is kill the Apotheosis, Paul told her. She can't be sure that we'll all go back to normal. Harriet, is that true? There's a 94.3% chance that they will, Harriet told her. Yes, but there's still a 5.7% chance that we won't, and I need her to be prepared for that, Paul told Harriet. So, this may be our last time together, Emma asked Paul. Yeah, I guess. Harriet looked over. Paul nodded. Emma got bold. She spun around on her heels and kissed Paul passionately. Henry smirked, setting Harriet down on her feet, which she could thankfully stand on. Harriet looked at him. She then looked at Paul. Oh God, they turned back, which meant they had to be close to the theater. Right where we wanted you. Henry chuckled darkly. No. Harriet breathed. Emma, stop! Emma struggled to get away from Paul. She really was fighting, but Paul was stronger, arms wrapped around her, keeping her close. Harriet watched the blue goo drip out of their mouths. Oh God, Emma might be O'Connor. She had to snap herself out of this and do something. Otherwise, she would be too. And she would be letting her uncle down in the process. Emma finally kneed Paul in the groin and spit out a bunch of blue glue. you, Paul, she growled, continually spitting it out.
Well, that won't do, Henry tutted, grabbing Harriet from behind.
Damn it, she still hadn't snapped out of it.
Go for this one, Paul. If you can get her, the barista will cave.
Hell no! Harriet shook her head, struggling against her uncle, but he was strong, and Paul was getting closer as Paul approached. A bit of backing music started to play. Oh God. A song.
Why are you afraid of love? Paul began.
I beg your pardon? Harriet scoffed, still trying to get off her uncle's hold.
Why are you afraid of love, Harry? Both men sang.
Maybe because love makes loss inevitable, she blurted out, and I have lost too much already. Maybe I'm trying to stay stable in the storm.
Good. Let those emotions out, Henry soothed.
I'm caught in a storm, all three sang together. You know all the blue goo is going to do is kill her, right? Emma cut in. She's got a device on that blocks her control.
You mean this? Paul chuckled, holding up both headpieces.
We're caught in the storm, Emma and Harriet both breathed, and there may be no way out.
Every storm has an eye,
Henry cut in. Though it seems far away, you can find it if you try. It's time to come and play. Time to play with us.
Henry and Paul sang together.
Never.
Harriet struggled as she heard the orchestration pick up.
I used to say the exact same thing. Literally, Paul chuckled. But the Apotheosis has taught me a lot of things. What did it teach you too, Harriet?
You've always loved to learn, Henry added.
Listen, there's no time for learning, no time for play. But that's when you're in safety, and that's not today, Harriet belted out. And your eye of the storm means that I have to die, and that's not happening today. Not today, no matter how hard you try.
We're caught in the storm, the four sang together. Caught in the storm. Come play with me again, Henry sang under them, kicking the backs of Harriet's knees so that she was forced to kneel. Paul kneeled down in front of her, still in shock from the fall, and with the effects of the air taking hold of her, she stopped struggling. Paul dropped the headpieces and cupped Harriet's face. Any last words? He asked.
I've never been a hero, she started. Wouldn't that have been nice? I'm going out softly, singing and dancing through life. The things that I held dear once are all long gone. What's the point in me going on? Could I have stopped it? Now we'll never know. They've been my foes since the beginning. This war started long ago, and though I find this freedom to express nice without a doubt, what have I let in since I let it out? Hush! You're being so dramatic. It's only your apotheosis, Henry soothed. Let it come to you. And with that, Paul kissed Harriet sweetly and gently. You know, for an enemy with a vengeance, they were giving her quite the end. They were making it easier on her in a way, almost as if they sensed how tragic her death was. She kissed back. It was useless fighting it now. She could feel blue ooze starting to fill her mouth. She tried to fight it off, but
There was so much of it. Why now? Why did her journey have to end here? She felt something cold in her head. She looked for a second to see Emma's hand sticking on the headpiece. She then heard a click of Emma's cocking the gun. There was a moment of hesitation. Harriet wasn't sure how long it would take for the headpiece to take effect, and she was struggling now to swallow the goo. She couldn't pull away from the kiss, which was odd considering how she found the concept of kissing disgusting, and only did it when she found it absolutely necessary, but this was intoxicating. Perhaps it was the apotheosis. Probably. She could almost sense Emma trembling as she heard a bang of a gun, and Paul fell limp to the ground. Harriet spat out all the blue goo, wiping it off her tongue. She could now see Emma clearly. Her feet were firmly planted, and she was looking Henry dead in the eyes. Her uncle dragged her up onto her feet and ran a hand down her stomach. "I will," he told her. "I will blow your fucking brains out before you get the chance," Emma stated, looking him dead in the eyes. "I don't want to have to kill you, because it would crush Harriet. Leave. Leave now. I know there's enough of the professor's self-preservation left in you to make you understand the gravity of this." "Fine," he growled, thrusting Harriet forward. She fell to her knees in front of Emma. "You know this won't be the last time you see us. And you know if you rear your ugly head, we don't care who you are. You're dead," Emma growled, watching Henry walk backwards slowly into an alley. "Holy shit, Emma. We've broken you in," Harry chuckled. Emma extended a hand to help her up. "This isn't funny," Emma told her. Harry could see the hurt in Emma's eyes. She knew what it was. She just shot the man she loved. For her. The gravity of the situation was so tense, and Harriet had no idea how to handle it. "I'm nervous laughter, Emma. I apologize." Harriet stopped. Let's just keep going," Emma sighed, taking Harriet's hand and walking away. Chapter 9. Words Fail. Once again, Emma and Harriet were stuck in silence, but the silence was much more grave than the last time. Harriet knew she'd done nothing wrong, or at least she didn't think she had. This was Emma, being in pain, and Harriet has no clue what to say. She was left just walking in silence beside her friend. She wanted so much to comfort her, to let her know that she was there, ready to be whenever Emma needed, that she didn't mind being cried on, or ranted to, or even beaten up if that was what Emma needed, but she could never find the words for the important things. The things she needed to say. God, she had so much bottled up inside of her. She sacrificed so much, and she knew that in order to reach her goal, she needed to sacrifice more. At least now she had a friend to rely on, that had decided to rely on each other, and Harriet now couldn't imagine doing this without her. She just wanted Emma to know how much she meant to her, but, well, in the wise words of that very socially awkward young liar, words fail. Thoughts were flooding Harriet's head, and she tried to keep up with Emma. Finally, Emma stopped dead in her tracks and pivoted to face Harriet. "Aren't you going to say something?" she asked in a fluster. Harriet started. "I just watched you make out with the man I loved, Harriet. I fucking killed him for you," she spat. "Why the fuck did I do that?" "How the hell should I know?" Harriet quirked an eyebrow. She sighed. She'd fucked that one up. Time to try to redeem herself. Look, if it's any consolation at all, I didn't really want to kiss him." "You looked like you did," she scoffed. "It's the apotheosis, and I didn't have my headpiece," Harriet reasoned defensively. "I'm not interested in Paul, or I
wasn't, I suppose. I don't know why you killed him. That's something only you can answer. But I'll forever be grateful that you gave me the chance to live. Harry, she breathed before beginning to sob hysterically, latching onto Harriet. Harriet tensed at the unexpected affection, but she soon relaxed and pulled Emma close to her, holding her tightly. God, I hate this. I'm such a dumb bitch, forming emotional attachments. You're not a dumb bitch. You're simply human, Harriet soothed. Sometimes I wish this could all just be over, that I could surrender to them. She groaned, still sobbing. Life would be so much fucking easier. Don't say that, Harriet chided. Once you give up in your head, you're as good as dead. I know, she sniffed. She continued to sob. I'm so glad I don't have to do this alone. I am too, Harriet sighed. I understand where you're coming from, though. I wish so damn much that I could be back in my uncle's arms. Do you know how good that felt? For the first time in what seems like forever, everything was normal. Normally, I'd laugh because this is all anything but normal. But I felt the same way around Paul. Emma nodded, pulling away from the hug. God, for the first time in what seems like forever, everything felt normal. Normally I laugh because this is anything but normal, but I felt the same way around Paul. Emma nodded, pulling away from the hug. You know, I don't think I've got it so bad, though. Why's that? Harriet corked an eyebrow. Because I also feel that way around you, Emma told her, looking down at the ground. I don't know what to say, Harriet chuckled nervously. I consider you to be like family, too. Yeah, that's what I meant, Emma chuckled sadly. Family. The fact that you just said that makes me think that you didn't. Harriet blinked, trying to figure out what she was missing. You know you could talk to me about anything, right? Not this, Emma laughed. Why not? Harriet asked. Have I made you uncomfortable in some way? What? No, Emma assured her. She grabbed Harriet's hands and started directly at her. Harriet panicked. She'd probably want eye contact, which Harriet couldn't give her much of. Hey, look at me. You've done nothing wrong. I know I may make it seem like it sometimes because I'm a dumb bitch, but you're not. Harriet cut her off, looking her in the eyes briefly before dropping her gaze again. I mean, I am. Look how uncomfortable I made you. I'm sorry. She chuckled. Anyways, you did nothing. I just feel really safe around you. Oh. Harriet blushed. I think I might even. She started when all of a sudden a radio must have turned on. There was a tiny sounds of what sounded like intro to a news show. It's been over a month since the tragedy that wiped out our brothers and sisters in Hatchetfield, a male voice started. Today, crews of astrobiology chemists have started research on a strange meteor that may have been the cause of some death. Some? Harriet scoffed. This just in, there was a transmission received by CIA who were running the investigation. That leads them to believe that Hatchetfield just might not be secure anymore, and that the researchers may have gotten a little too close to the source of whatever wiped out Hatchetfield, he continued. That is the most watered-down shit I have ever heard, Emma laughed. Can you believe that? As considering as the content of the radio transmission was,
I'm more concerned with where it's coming from and why it only just started playing then, Harriet shuddered. That's some creepy astronomical horror book shit. Yeah, that is the least like you I've heard you sound. Emma stifled a laugh. Shut the fuck up, I'm spooked, Harriet flushed. You're hilarious, Emma laughed. Although you're right about the radio. That was creepy. Thank you, Harriet exclaimed. Nice to know you're still thinking rationally. And now a special message from Uncle Wiley, the man said. Who the fuck is Uncle Wiley? Some toy maker. I heard about him. He got some new toy coming out soon. Emma shrugged. I think he's called it a Tickle Me Wiggly, ugliest thing I've ever seen, but people are going wild for it. Oh? Harriet quirked an eyebrow. Yeah, some dimwit kid got a peek of it and it leaked out into the world on Instagram, Emma continued. The demand got so high that he's releasing it early. He was supposed to release it for Black Friday next year, but he's releasing it in 2 weeks from now. Some jingle about weekly snigs and shit like that started to play. Harry began laughing because it was so corny. She remembered these kinds of things from when she was a kid. Her and her uncle used to tear them to shreds. Good times. He's lucky he was far enough ahead in production to release them this early, Harriet noted. It's almost suspicious, don't you think? You're suspicious about everything, Harry. Emma rolled her eyes. It's just a harmless doll. You're probably right, Harriet shrugged. Let's keep walking. Oh, shit, right, Emma realized, walking. As they turned another corner, Harriet was starting to feel how close they were, and it was overwhelming. The thinness of the spores in the air almost made her woozy. She blinked a few times and trudged forward weakly before stopping in her tracks. She was hearing something. Were those theater warm-ups? Oh, God, no. The fractional tour of Mamma Mia. She had forgotten about them. They must still be in the theater. God, no. Harriet was typically a huge fan of musicals, but she hated Mamma Mia. It just didn't do justice to ABBA. She knew that was coming up when she heard a very distorted version of Mamma Mia backing start to play. They were coming. The theater kids. The real, live, professional theater kids. Emma, run, hide. I can take them, Harriet urged. Shit, Harry, I don't feel so good, she groaned, stumbling away to hides. We've been cheated by you since we don't know when. A woman in a fully bedazzled domino costume started. She slunk out from the shadows. The song was distorted and much slower, changed to a minor key. So we've made up our minds, it must come to an end. Harriet watched as the entire cast started to surround her from every direction. Two of them dragged Emma back to her. Harriet held back a gasp as she saw Emma puking up blue shit. She was getting infected quickly. They tossed Emma onto the ground in front of her. Look at her now. Will you ever learn? Try to see how you can. Suddenly lose control. No more fires within your soul. The full chorus sang in harmonies. Oh, God, Harriet breathed. Just one look and you're ready to sing. One more look and you'll forget everything. They continued. Whoa, Mamma Mia, here I go again. My, how can I resist you? Harriet started to sing, modulated back to the original major key. This wasn't her. Wait, no! Don't fight it, they said in unison. Mamma mia, does it show again? My, just how much I missed you. She kept singing, her face showing her confusion. No, this wasn't how she felt. Yes, I've been broken-hearted, the full cast sang with her. Blue since the day we parted. Why did we ever leave the bunker? Why did we ever let you go? They sang to her. Mamma mia, now I really know. Harriet panicked. Why, I have really got to go. Harriet picked up Emma, who was wiping her mouth from the blue shit, bridal style, and attempted to carry her past them, but they blocked her in perfect formation before she could get past. Nuh-uh-uh, they taunted. You can dance, you can jive, having the time of your life. Ooh, ooh, we've watched you, girl. Since this scene, we're digging the dancing queen. You've got the wrong girl, Harry chuckled nervously, shoveling past them. She set Emma down cautiously and rigid her gun. Knowing me and knowing you, there's nothing we can do. Knowing me, knowing you, we just got to face it, it's time we're through. Killing you is never easy, I know, but I have to go. Knowing me, knowing you, that's the best I can do. Harriet sighed before shooting all of them square in the forehead. She felt guilty, watching them topple to the ground. She had no clue why. Perhaps because she could relate to their love of theater. She picked Emma up and walked through the doors of the theater before laying her down on the bench. She found a stack of programs and used them to prop up Emma's head. She stroked a bit of hair out of her face affectionately, feeling a small tear spring to her eye. It rolled down her face, to her cheek, and dropped onto Emma's forehead. She brushed it off tenderly. Once again, words failed. She was going to lose Emma. It had gotten too far. Emma was obviously producing her own blue shit, which meant she was all but one of them. Without her headpiece on, at this stage, she'd probably already be singing. Poor Emma. They'd been through so much. Harriet almost couldn't bear to lose her. She decided it best to tell Emma where they were. Hey, we made it. She smiled sadly as Emma leaned over and puked up blue stuff again. We're in the theater? Emma asked hopefully. Yeah, the meteor is just through these doors, on the stage. Harriet chuckled sadly at her friend's newfound innocence. Go do it then, Emma urged weakly. No, Harriet shook her head. I can't. You have to, Harry, Emma chuckled weakly. This is what we've gone through the past few months of shit for. That's right. Us. We got this far together, she told Emma, her eyes watering. And I'm not leaving you behind while I save the world. There's no hope left for me. Emma hushed her. Which is why I need to tell. Au contraire, Harriet cut her off. She had realized something very, very big. The fact that your body is rejecting the blue shit is encouraging. Really? Emma asked. Absolutely, Harriet nodded. And you're lucky. I have the ingredients for the same component that kills the blue shit in my satchel. I always bring extras in case anything happens. With fire from my lighter, I could have it ready in 15 minutes or so. That's convenient, Emma chuckled weakly. Hang in there, love, Harriet smiled. You're gonna be okay. Love? Emma blushed. Sorry, it's a term of endearment I picked up from my uncle, and Harriet flushed. No, it's okay. Emma smiled. I like it. Harriet smiled softly, pulling the compounds and her lighter out of the satchel. Getting started on science. she had work to do. I would like to thank you so much for listening. Sorry for butchering Mamma Mia and literally every other song in here. I only listened to most of these songs like 3 times and then got into it, and then I just added my own twists because I don't want the slightest chance of being copyrighted. Whoop whoop. The only thing I probably sang directly was Paul's part. Whoops. Sorry if that triggered some theater kids. Don't worry, it triggered me too. I just, copyright is a thing. So thank you for listening. Go down to the description below if you'd like to see my socials like Twitter, Instagram, Wattpad, TikTok, Tumblr. Also go in the description to get a link to my second YouTube channel where I go live, or to the Google forum where you can recommend fics for me to read. Comment below about the story because I had to pause multiple times just to fangirl, even though I already read this 3 times. Click on the screen to get a good video to watch. Go to my second channel, click on my regular channel, or go to Wattpad playlist. Thank you so much for listening, and like always, do your best.